Now, today we are going to review ROBOCOP 1984.
Drop it. They're that old?
Yeah, man.
It wasn't 84?
Holy mackerel.
Oh, hold on. Let me get my glasses on.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 87.
1987, July 17th, 1987.
I was going to say 84, they had that technology?
Runtime of 102 minutes. Budget was $13 million. Box office was $53 million.
Yeah, that movie cost $13 million to make.
Yeah, $13 million. But
you know what it was though? You know what cost all that motherfucking money though? It was that Pee-wee's Playhouse visuals they used on Ed 209. You know what I'm saying? Like Ed 209 looked like a creature from Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I mean, I don't know if Ghost will get to it, but yo,
let's get to that later. Let's get to that later because I got thoughts on Ed 209.
Yeah, we got thoughts on it. Also, I did not know until recently that Ed 209 stood for Enforcement Droid Series 209.
Yeah, no, that's good shit.
All right, so we start off in Detroit. You know, they have it's super cool world building because they have their own news channel, their own world news anchors. They're talking about problems in their world, and they're talking about this cop who's might die or whatever. And then Alex James Murphy transfers from Metro South to get more action, and like they're welcoming him in and say the commissioner's like, oh, we work for a living here, Murphy. This isn't Metro South, blah blah blah. Then he goes into the
there's a line that gets said. First off, the future is a wild place, just from the way they were setting the scene, right? It was like and then there's a line when, you know, Murphy's walking into the back of the locker room or whatever, and the dude runs into him. He's like, oh yeah, welcome to hell.
Yeah.
And so I just want to keep in mind with this movie, right, everything that's getting ready to happen to this man is on his first day on the job. Like, he met his partner, he got a cup of coffee, and then everything just went left.
Yeah, for real. I had that in my notes too.
But let's talk about, you know, before we get too deep into it. So Murphy, right? Do we know him from any other movie?
No.
All right. So do you think he was cast because of his voice or because of the shape of his head? Because he had to fit in that thing, right? So I'm looking at his face and I'm like, yo, he got he got a dome, but then over here, like an alien, right? Like it's big up here, very little here, but he's got the good voice for the robot voice, right? And I'm like, why?
Yeah, he's got the voice. He's got the voice. But we'll get to his design in a little bit. So Detroit sucks. Detroit fucking sucks. All the cops are going on strike. And they're cleaning out Frank's locker that the anchor was talking about earlier. And they're talking about going on strike. The commissioner comes and cleans out the locker. We're not talking about strike. We're not plumbers. And then so OCP takes over the police department. And, Dick Jones talks about bringing in Ed 209, the new enforcement droid. He wants Ed 209 on the streets, which is a big-ass freaking machine to be on the room in the streets, you know, enforcing the law, which is pretty insane. And then Bob Norton, he's pissed his idea gets overseen, and then Ed 209 malfunction, and that's when Morton strikes. He's like, sir, I gotta at security what's the thing, security customs, at security concepts. He's like, oh, I got a blueprint for something we could have rolling out in 90 days, blah, blah, blah. And then the old man, who's actually called old man in the credits, he's like, all right, give me a whatever in 20 days. Give me a presentation. So,
rest in peace to the homie Kenny. He just showed up to that meeting that morning. You know what I'm saying? He just showed up for work.
Got fucked up.
Yo. I don't know about you, but when's the last time that you went into a motherfucking boardroom with a fucking this stubble from GoldenEye just right there on the dresser, like it was a prop, right? Like,
you said it just stubble.
Hell yeah, that was my woman.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, why is that happening in the boardroom? Like,
you got platinumed out Desert Eagle.
You know what I'm saying? Like what was going on? Like, hey, you know, you didn't. Yo, wait a minute. You know why? Because in that world, that fictitious scenario happened was the same world where the dude's like, yeah, I wasn't able to make it on time. We lost the account, and he just shot himself in the head. That's
true. But
in that world, shit was serious. You had a gun in every room, I think. Yeah. So it was only right that you would have to put an enforcing droid, a big ass robot, because everybody had a gun.
Yo, all I know is rest in peace to the homie Kenny, right? Kenny was like, yeah, I'll hold the gun. He put the gun down, the machine malfunctioned, and Kenny got lit up. Like, it looked like something was digging inside of his chest, bro. It was blood splattering everywhere, and everybody was just watching like, oh my God, somebody help. And then somebody was like, yo, call paramedic. Ain't no need for no paramedic, bro.
Don't touch him.
Yo, ain't no need for no paramedic. Kenny gone, fam.
So in order to stop that from happening, what they did was they ripped out cables from inside their controller. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Turn on your TV, right, and put on whatever channel. Rip out the batteries from the back of your controller and tell me if the TV just shuts off. My man, I have no idea how ripping these cables out was gonna make the robot just.
Nah,
for real.
Right?
Did not think
that shit would have kept shooting everybody. Yo, the best part was counting down, right? You got 20 seconds to comply. He thought it was a cool joke, puts the gun down. You got 15 seconds to comply. He's like, yo, they were pushing them up.
It's like, yo, get away from me. I ain't gonna hold you. If I'm in that room and Kenny try to grab on to me, nah, bro, you getting ready to get shot. I know what's going down. You can get up out of here.
Yo, my man, there's easier ways to get people fired. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have HR for that. You don't just kill them.
Yeah.
So not only does homeboy get shot up, right, to smithereens, but yo, old man, right? Old man in the credits?
Yeah.
Disappointed. Yo, my man, let me tell you right now, that's the last thing that would happen in that boardroom. That shit's the biggest lawsuit ever. Yo, you just got killed on the premises in front of all these eyewitnesses.
Yo.
He was just like, it was just like a bad day in the office for him.
He literally just was like, I'm so disappointed. Like, he just facepalmed. You know
and then the thing is, Dick Jones was like, it must be a glitch. It's like, yo, this dude got turned into Swiss cheese in your presentation office. There must be a glitch.
Wild.
All right, so anyway, Lewis and Murphy, they get a call to check out a fleeing van from a robbery.
Oh, wait. There's one other thing I want to talk about real quick. I just got to touch on it because since we're introduced to Ed 209 in the sequence here, why? First off, it looks fake as hell, right? It looks like the whatchamacallit, the Cyclops from like that movie in the 60s, like Homer's Odyssey or whatever, right? So it looks so fake, right? And then what I realized is it's the same machine that Dr. Robotnik uses to get around in his regular everyday life. So going forward, Ed 209 to me just reminded me of Sonic and Dr. Robotnik. That's what I thought of.
Oh, shit.
All right, so Lewis and Murphy, they get a call to check out the robbery when and it's the fleeing van. Clarence Boddicker, this guy's a gangster. His real name's Clarence. His boy burns the money. He's like, you burned the fucking money and blah blah blah. And then they're chasing him. Lewis and Murphy, they're chasing him. And then Bobby gets shot in the leg, and then Clarence Boddicker goes, "Can you fly, Bobby?" And then they throw him onto the car. And then they go to their the steel mill. Actually, you know what? But can you fly, Bobby? He improvised that right on the spot. So they go to the steel mill. The black guy's taking a piss. Lewis bursts a bubble. She pops a bubble to get his attention. She's like, freeze. And then he's like, mind if I zip this up? And then they're like...
That's what we need to talk about. Yo, my man, how's he going to be... He got the eggplant hanging out, right? And yo, check it out, right? So this is... her name is it Lois or Lewis?
Lewis.
It's Lewis.
Lewis, that's her last name, right? Do we even know her first name?
They say at one point. I
Officer.
forgot.
Maybe it's Officer. I don't know.
And Lewis. That does sound familiar.
Yeah, all right. So peep game, right? Homeboy turns around ill, right? I don't know about you, but if I'm pissing holding my dick, I can't turn around that ill. Like he glided around. My man, I gotta stop pissing. That shit takes time. Like whatever. And you can see in her eyes that she wants to look. She done fucked up though. She done fucked up.
She looked, made you look.
Yo,
homeboy threw her into the fucking pit.
Yo, the horny hit her at the wrong time, bro. The horny hit her at the wrong time.
She took a gander, homeboy. Yo, Jedi, what's the line? What's the line? Well, maybe I know you want to go through every single scene, but he.
So Murphy stops the mill, and then Clarence Boddicker is like, no, he's mine, blah blah blah. So then they all hold up Murphy up, and then the black guy, the guy's like, he's like, oh, where's your partner? And then the black guy goes, the partner, I took care of the partner. She was sweet. Yeah. I took her out.
Yo, so let's kind of set the tone for this imaginary Detroit, where the hooligans and the villains and the gangsters are so cocky, right? That homeboy like just kind of pushed her over the ledge, right? And that was enough to wipe her up. Like she was done.
Yep.
I'm like, yo, they were so untouchable. They didn't give a shit. They're like, yo, I don't care if she's alive or not. I don't need to check. She fell on the bag of potatoes or whatever she fell on. I don't even need to double check. We're good. Let's keep it moving. She took a look at the ding dong, and bah, she went down. And kids tuning in. This stuff is all relevant because if you're playing Mortal Kombat now with RoboCop, you'll see some of this shit in the game.
Yeah, and then Clarence Boddicker, he goes, nah. He's like, I got a problem with cops. Cops don't like me, so I don't like cops. Blows off his freaking hand.
The game just fires.
Yo,
really dope.
Red Foreman was a full thug. That's who that was, right? That's who plays Clarence. That's Red Foreman. All right, everybody knows him from that 70s show. And so the whole time I'm just thinking to him like, yo, you want me to break my foot off in your ass, right? That's that guy.
Oh shit, that's him.
And so
he's also the dad from Dead Poets Society, the kid who kills himself. He's the dad.
You know, I didn't put that together. But what killed me was, first off, it was the bootleg Batman impression, right? So there's that part. And then this man was so ruthless, he shot off his hand and just was like, all right, yeah, y'all can do what y'all want with him now.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, my man. What kind of gun does that? What kind of futuristic ass gun did Donatello leave behind in the Technodrome that Shredder's friend Tatsu was using? Because he shoots the hand and it blows up, right?
It was a shotgun.
It was a shotgun.
I thought it was a handgun.
No, it's a shotgun.
Yeah, they all have shotguns.
Well then fast forward.
Which leads to another thing about them all having shotguns. This man had his hand shot off, and it was straight Harlem Shaking, getting ate up from like 5 shotguns, even though it all sounded like the gun that Yosemite Sam used to use because they just recycled the sound effects.
Musket? Yeah, they were using muskets on him.
You know what I'm saying?
But
for real, he was getting totally shut up and just like It's like
he was alive.
That second shot would have just made him dead.
Especially considering the fact.
So what's in the vest then? What's got to be in the vest?
That's what I'm saying. Because
the vest looked like the vest looked like it was made from the same material as the Green Ranger's golden vest.
Yo, so basically Tommy had no chance.
Tommy had no chance.
Tommy should have been able to beat up the putties and Rita.
Yo, we're not gonna bring Tommy is a whole legend. I don't think y'all realize.
He's a whole legend. He's a whole Beecham, a green one.
I got put on game the other day. I forgot about the episode where they, you know what I'm saying, everybody, you know, bought their things out and made the Megazord, and Tommy went in the machine, punched Trini in the face, and started busting up the dashboard. Tommy was a thug. So that meant some respect.
Yeah, right? He was a thug.
I don't know. Yo, we
say that conversation for another time.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll save that. So anyway, Murphy gets rushed to the hospital, and then all these doctors trying to save his life, and they're shocking him and giving him epinephrine, and nothing's working. And they're like, "Oh, we'll just shock him one more time, and whatever, we'll close it." And then screen goes black, and then the monitor squiggles come on, and you can see them working, troubleshooting the RoboCop design, and then they're doing a Happy New Year, this and that. And then he finally gets up. He wakes up. You see him walking, and then you see a glimpse of him on the little screen walking by. Yo, RoboCop. RoboCop is by far probably the dopest like robot design I've seen.
It is dope, but before we get to the design, I want to talk about what the design could have been, because as they're working on them, right? The doctors are like, "Oh, we saved the arm." Homeboy was like,
yeah,
"Oh, fuck the arm, fuck it. I need full prosthesis." So it makes you wonder, like, what that would have looked like if he would have been half Jax. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a regular arm and he had a robot arm. Like, what would that look like? And then I guess now we think about that a little bit. We fast forward to what Jedi's saying. He walks by, right? Yo, Murphy had to be a pop locker because he moves good.
Yeah, for real. He's like,
my man, he moves good, right? So there must be some audition tapes of him like Turbo Ozone with the broom and shit. He must have been doing that. I think so, because he moved real good, and I think to Jedi's point, the design was ill. I don't think that they ever really. I think they may allude to it, but they don't show you, what's inside the robot suit, right? It's got his skin graft on it, which his face, right? Mm-hmm. And his brain is supposed to be underneath that metal shell that's underneath the helmet. But what's underneath everything else, and why does he seemingly feel pain?
Well, so they do a little bit. First off, ain't no brain in there, right? His brain is on the back of that cement floor when they shot him, because they shot him up 56 times with the shotguns, and then homeboy shot him in his face, and his entire head exploded. So his brain ain't in there. Right? That's a wrap. But they did mention his digestive tract. So I think they kept like the torso and, like his torso and his face. Because he had to eat the baby dookie.
Yeah, well,
it was like the soft serve machine or whatever.
Yeah,
and it was like, it tastes like baby food.
The 2014 RoboCop talks about it, because they take away all the prosthesis, and then it shows the lungs and the stomach and stuff like that.
We could definitely get into that, because that one was
that movie fucking sucks anyway. All right, so they get back to the precinct, and
real quick, shout out to the trainer. I don't know about you guys, but when I was younger, right, that's probably the first white woman I actually looked at like, hold on a second, maybe she don't got cooties, right? Because it was the one where she was the one who got drunk at New Year's or whatever, and she took her glasses off and gave him a little kiss. I was like, she kind of bad, like a little bit when she took them glasses off, but we could.
Yeah.
Yo, let me find out that Ghost was listening to that, and all he was hearing is that wet ass pussy track.
Yeah.
Holes up in here. You got to stop playing. I don't know. I think they should have weighed out their options. Do we put Murphy in a robot suit, or do we bring that motherfucker to Judd's backyard and bury him in Pet Cemetery, let him come back and fuck everybody up?
That's not what you want.
It might have been a better alternative.
That's not what you want.
All right, so anyway, they get back to the precinct, and everybody's rolling in all the computer things and blah blah blah, and then the commissioner's like, "Hey, what the hell's going on here?" And then he hears RoboCop steps, dope. And then they're like, "Oh, what's going on?" So then he's in his throne, and they're just asking him questions and all that. They show his baby food, like Ghost said, and the guy's like, "Oh, it tastes like baby food," and it's like, "Knock yourself out." Yeah. So then, and then Bob so then we cut, and it goes to a Nukem commercial, the battleship commercial with the nukes. Yo, these commercials are mad funny.
That was wild. That was a wild commercial. It was a tabletop game of a nuclear war.
For real, it's like, Pakistan's threatening my border.
Yeah, I'm cutting off your army. I'm cutting off your military. And then somebody hit a button and everything exploded. What?
For real. And then everybody's like, "Oh."
The commercials are wild. The dude that killed himself over the project being late. But what's up with that SUX 6000? That car looked like a piece of trash.
Not in 87. Yo, and I caught it when it flashed across screen. I think it got 8.3 miles per gallon, bro. Get up out of here.
Yeah, that's when Yeah, we'll get to that later when we get to the mayor holding hostages.
Oh, okay.
So it comes to Bob and another guy in the bathroom talking shit about Dick Jones, not knowing that Dick Jones is in the stall. And he's like, oh, that guy's a pussy, blah, blah, blah. And then Dick Jones comes out and everybody's all scared and they run out. And the guy pisses on himself. He's like, oh, I got a meeting. So then Dick Jones is talking shit, throwing around his dick. He grabs Bob Norton by the hair and says, watch it, pretty boy. I'll fuck you up.
No, he didn't even.
So then Robo's.
Wait a minute.
He didn't even wash his hands. He was just taking the shit, didn't wash his hands, and just put his hands in homeboy hair.
Yo. But now, let me ask you this: did he grab him by the top of the hair or the back of the hair?
The side.
To the side.
Yo, my man, I don't know about you. Let a grown man grab me by the back of my hair.
Well, keep growing it out, and he will.
But that's wild because I'm thinking about like, that's a bitch move.
Oh yeah.
Like if I grab you by the top of your hair, because I'm gonna punch you in the front of your face. Why am I grabbing you by the back of your hair? And homeboy was kind of like he took it because he didn't fight him.
Well, he said, get the fuck off me, fucking fuck you,
fuck you, fucker. Yeah, I don't know. The culture is different. I mean, I don't know why homeboy pissing on himself. Shit, let me finish pissing first.
All right, so Robo's in his meditation throne. He's having flashbacks of the murder of Boddicker and his crew, the United Nations. His whole crew there was a black guy, a Spanish guy, a Chinese guy, a white guy, an Irish guy.
Wait, before that, because he went out before that. And that's when he fought the dude in like the liquor store. There was the dude.
No, he didn't go out yet, did he?
Yeah, because before he had the flashbacks, they was like they took him on a little test run. They was like,
that's
tossed
right,
him the keys.
That's right. Yeah, and tossed him the keys. Go get him, boy.
That first fight scene, why did my man try to run forward? He punched him in his face, but he went flying forward anyway. Right? Like it was kind of like, I get it if it was like a clothesline, but he hit him this way, and the man flew this way and destroyed everything in front of him. And then he just left him there.
I know.
I'm just a cop doing my job. Yo, what's wild about that is that, again, here we go back with the guns, right? There's guns everywhere. Homeboy went to go rob the local bodega for whatever he could get, right? Whatever he's going to get out of the register, $50, with a weapon that clearly costs more than that, right? More than what he's going to get out of the register. He has this crazy weapon. And then he turns around like he's going to blaze something. That shit was straight out of the cartoons.
Yeah. And then what was also straight out of the cartoons is how RoboCop just grabbed it and bent it. Yo, that
was a good sound effects. That's some good shit.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought it was all right.
I mean, I got to keep in mind like the timeline, right? I got to keep in mind like, yo, it's 87. Like, what am I expecting? But at the same time, like,
looks good. That titanium casing. It's a nice coat. It looks good. It looks like it's real. It doesn't look like Ed 209s. My only issue is that after you see this movie now through today's eyes, and you see how hollow that shit is, right? Because the gun comes out the side. My man,
which is dope, by the way. Super dope. The way the gun comes out of the leg.
Yeah.
That is very dope. We haven't seen anything since like that, right? Because Terminator just walks with that shit out, but it's so flimsy looking. That shit doesn't even look like a salt and pepper holder. Like you can't put your spices in that rack. Like that shit look light. So I didn't like that. But yo, he was definitely well equipped. In '87, homeboy had USB 3.0 because when the knuckles folded up or back or sideways or whatever, and that prong came out,
yeah,
he had access to everything.
And then he stops those two rapists from with that girl. He shoots them.
That place is hell. That place is scary now that we're talking about it.
Yep.
Detroit sucks.
Yep.
Yo, hold on. Yo, Jedi, in that whole we'll call it an entanglement. In that entanglement, what were the dudes saying to the girl like, are you here curly down there too, or something like that? What was the line? What was the line? When he was trying to
Oh, he's like, I think there's more hair down there. Or something like that.
Pervert status.
Oh, the 80s must have been wild. I mean, I was a baby. I don't know how wild it could have been, but
did anybody peep when he was like, "Yo, pass me the piece"? You remember when people used to call the gun a piece?
Yeah, but that was like the 90s.
Yo, there was a line.
People
in the
still
movie.
call a gun a piece.
No, not like then. Like back then, it was just, it just caught me off guard because like now everybody says like like the glizzy, even though people are learning that glizzy is also a hot dog. But we're not gonna get into that. But you know what I'm saying? Pass me the glizzy, pass me the Glock, pass me the, you know what I'm saying? But the fact that he was like, "Yo, give me the piece," I was like, "Yeah, this is the 80s."
If you guys are hearing that in your everyday conversations with the people you associate with, I'm glad that we just via Zoom, because I'm not hearing that in my community. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's telling me to pass them the burner, the heat, none of that. We ain't doing that over here. Sorry.
All right, next.
And then we get to the politician holding hostages in the office. And then RoboCop's like, "Oh, keep them talking." And then the politician has the worst negotiations ever. He's like, "First of all, no matter what happens, I want my old job back." I'm like,
yeah.
Fam,
you're done. You're done.
He's like, and then I want a helicopter, and then I want a really fast car that gets really shitty gas mileage.
Man, you're done. And that's when he was like,
"Oh, what about?" He's like, "What about the 600 SUX?" He's like, does it cruise control? Does it come with cruise control?
Yeah. You're done. And one of the hostages was dead. On top of all that.
Also, fun fact: that thermal imaging scene that was done with nude actors painted with fluorescent paint on their bodies.
That's why it looks so terrible. Because I played enough Call of Duty to know where all the heat is at, right? So the fact that it looked like they had wings, it was 87.
All the heat was on the spine. That's it.
Pretty much, like the heat was like on their shoulders and like on their butt, and it was just like that's not how that works.
Yeah,
man, you guys got me bugged out. I feel like I need to go right to that scene so I can check it out real quick.
It was terrible.
You'll definitely see it. It's like the second image of the thermal. You'll see it.
Yeah, unfortunately, now we got Call of Duty, so we know what the thermal scope actually looks like. But I was just watching the movie like, yes, I mean it's a dope feature, but the way they did it is just so underwhelming.
Yeah,
for 13 million, what do you think? Right, 13 million. They can't have a real Ed 209. They fucking had Murphy in shiny styrofoam. I'm sure. The gun was dope.
Yeah, but everything about RoboCop is fucking dope because nowadays it would have just been CG. Let's just mail it in. Let's just do CG. Yeah. All that shit was practical and it looked fucking sick. Yeah. So anyway, Robo's in the meditation throne and he's having flashbacks of his murder and he sees Clarence Boddicker and all that, and then he starts getting these images and then he shows them shooting them and then he just stands up and he freaking gets out and he wants to go find his killers. And then he drives by the gas station, and then Emil, the redheaded guy, he's holding up a gas station. He's like, "Oh, what are you, some type of college boy?" He's like, "Oh, you think you're pretty smart, huh?"
Yo, tell it to me right now.
He's like, "What are you doing, homework or something?" And then the kid's like, "Oh yeah," he holds up the book. And he's like, "Oh, you must."
First of all, casting in the 80s, in the 90s, Homeboy was a student. Yo, Homeboy looked like the substitute teacher. So that's already off the bat. So if Homeboy was a student and he looked like Emil or Emil or whatever his name is, yo, Homeboy had the ill receding hairline. It reminds me of that Mad TV skit where the guy's like, 15, yes, that's how old I am. And he turns around and he has an ill ball. Yo, because there's no way Homeboy was a student working at a gas station looking like his wife left him. She got the 3 kids. And now she's moved in with John. And Homeboy got to earn some type of living, right? Yo, do you think you got Art Smart a bullet? That was good. That was the line that I was hoping that Jedi got to.
Yeah, you think you got Art Smart a bullet? So anyway, RoboCop stops him and then... Emil's like, he's like, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." And then Emil's like, oh, I know you. We killed you. And he shoots him. Yo. And then he gets on his bike and RoboCop shoots the hose. He gets on his bike, he drives off, and then RoboCop shoots the back tire, freaking, and they'll go slamming into the car. I feel bad for that stuntman, that's for sure. And then and then RoboCop goes back to the precinct. Nobody gets arrested.
Nope.
RoboCop goes back. RoboCop goes back to the precinct. He does his USB middle finger, puts the thing in the thing, and then he finds out all the suspects that killed him. And then he finds out his old address because it shows Alex J. Murphy, deceased. So then he goes visit his old house, dope house, by the way, for a cop who's making $30,000 a year. Fact. Dope house, but the TV's on like one of those little carts that you know you're watching a movie in class. You know what I mean? It's like one of those 5-channel movies. Like, there's no TV, there's no wall mounts over there.
Yeah,
but it was a dope house. And then you got the wife saying, "I really need to tell you something. I love you." And then all that happens like 10 times throughout the movie. So, meanwhile, Bob's.
I don't know how much we needed of this stuff in there. Like, it's cool. We're getting the flashbacks. He goes back to the crib. I mean, I'm not a big what's the word I'm saying? Like, I'm not a critical of movies, right? I like movies. I mean, Van Damme, which is one of my top 2 actors of all time, right? Because he's great. But Homeboy's at the gas station. We're reminded back to the gas station, and he says that dialogue. And how's the redheaded dude by that dialogue be like, "Yo, we killed you. You're dead." Right? Like,
I know. We did it.
Right? Like he knew, like Homeboy went there with the objective. Like, I got this crazy ass gun. Listen, I want free gas. I want free gas. I'm out.
Yo.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, and I'm not paying for gas. Like,
but
you know what I'm saying? Like,
not only did he get free gas, he robbed him, and then was like, "Also, I want to fill up on pump 7." Like,
yo, Bookworm takes but you know what's crazy, right? Think about that dude's real life. Yo, I got cast for a movie. I'm in this new movie coming out. It's called RoboCop. It's about a dead cop that's a robot. Yo, Homeboy had no lines. He had like 3 facial expressions in that role. And then he runs off with the book. And then you got Murphy, who's in a robot suit, all high tech, right? Because when they show you through his vision, he got the target, the crosshairs, and everything. Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop. My man, how are you going to miss that moving target? It's driving in a straight line away from you. You shot everything else. Pew, 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 pew. You know what I mean? Like, you should. Damn, if the redhead recognizes you off your voice, then you should have had a direct hit to your target. Homeboy should have shot him in the head.
You got to keep in mind, he has his 3 directives, right? He got the 3 directives, and the third one was uphold the law. So he can't just murder him because he has to be, he has to be arrested, tried, convicted because he's upholding the law, right? So that's why all them shots was non-lethal shots, right? He was like, "I'm gonna shoot the hose to the motorcycle, I'm gonna blow out the back tire, he gonna crash, and I'm just gonna leave him on the side of the street." By the way, he also didn't even call the fire department because he blew up the gas station, right? like, nobody bothered to. So he ain't call that in. And then the other funny thing was homeboy who works there. You know what I'm saying? When he was like, he saw them shooting next to the gas thing, he was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take my book and I'm gonna run. Leave that fucking book, bro. I don't know how much textbooks cost in the '80s, but you can just leave that there."
What was the book that he was studying?
I think
it was quantum mechanics or something like that.
I don't remember.
It wasn't those words. It was something with geometry maybe in it.
Yeah, because he had his compass.
But it wasn't quantum mechanics. No, but it was something mad nerdy, right?
Yeah.
But yo, that motherfucker was definitely at Schneebly. That dude was a substitute teacher. Yo, yes, this is Ned Schneebly.
Something had to do with physics.
Oh man.
So meanwhile, back at Bob's house, he's sniffing that nose candy with those 2 models that are at his house, and he's sniffing that up off their chest. And then Clarence Bodiger rings the doorbell. Nice guy. He rings the doorbell. Bob answers the door. It's freaking Clarence Bodiger with a gun. And then he says, "Bitches, leave." And then the girls leave. He's like, "You gonna call me?" It's like, obviously not. He's not gonna call you. He's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, leave him alone. Yeah. So then Clarence shoots him in the legs, and then he plays a tape that what's his name? Dick Jones left. So let me tell you right now, I'm the head of a multi-million-dollar corporation called Omni Consumer Products. I'm number 2 in the company. I design military industrial weapons.
I run the city. I own the cops. I own the criminals. I get to say what goes. Let me go ahead and record this video of me killing this guy because I want him out of here. And, I'm going to go ahead and put it on your TVs and, give you the VHS copy of it.
Yeah.
That was a great plan?
It was on DVD.
Yeah, it was on DVD.
It was a CD.
Yep.
Yo, now,
and then he just put it on the side of the TV.
Give me some history. When the fuck was a DVD invented?
1987.
That's what I'm saying.
The CD was invented pretty early, but DVDs, movies, digital video, whatever that means, digital video discs weren't invented till like early 2000s, right?
I'm like, nah, before that.
No, that was before that because
still, it was like mid to late 90s.
98, 99.
Yeah, mid to late 90s.
But CDs were invented a long time ago.
That's crazy. So you know in the movie he had the disc. He puts the disc in. That shit was a blank disc. That shit was a CRW on it or whatever CWR. Right? The guy in the background, the VCR stuntman had to press play mad quick.
You know what's funny too? The second he puts in the CD, that's it. The video's on the TV.
Right? He didn't have to go to no menu. He didn't have to push start. He didn't have to push play. It was just like it was just like boop, and then it came up on the TV.
Yeah, for real.
Wait a minute.
We don't got that technology now.
What year was that movie supposed to take place in?
2028. I did peep that. Detroit 2028. So 8 years from now. Shit. 8 years from now is when this movie's supposed to take place. Still using CDs.
So damn, I'm surprised they didn't have floating cars around and shit. Whatever.
I know they just had the blacked out Ford Tauruses in 2028 for cops.
Oh, good shit.
All right, so anyway, Clarence blows up Bob's house for talking too much, and then it cuts back to RC, RoboCop. RC pays a visit to Clarence's coke house. So it shows Clarence in the coke house talking with the guy, and Clarence sticks his two fingers in the guy's glass of wine, and he sniffs it. And then the guy immediately picks it up and starts taking a sip. I'm like, wow, if that's improvised, that's fucking awesome. So, and then that's like some bullshit. That's like some bullshit right there. And then
oh man, yeah,
they hear a banging at the door.
Oh, hold on. Before they get there, and I don't remember all the dialogue that happens between the two, but the two guys are having a dispute, right? And they all pull their guns out. Everybody's about to get blazed up.
Mexican standoff.
And then the other dude, not Clarence, the other dude's like, just kidding. That shit was mad funny. Yo, when he's saying just kidding, he forfeited his thug card. Like he wasn't a thug anymore. He wasn't in charge anymore. When
he that was mad funny because it was just like they was talking big business, right? And he was like, yeah, I want a volume discount. And he's like, nobody gets a discount. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows you're dirty. Guys like me don't get involved with guys like you. You know what? Light him up, blow his brains out, and everybody pull their guns out. And then you kind of stand off for a second. And then my man was like, you know what? Never mind. Let's talk. Like, how do you?
He's like, come on, man. The Tigers are playing tonight.
You know what I mean? Like,
the game.
They were ready to go. They were ready to go because everybody pulls out their straps, right?
Yeah.
They're ready. You got the two guys in the background that they got word. I don't know how they got word so quick, but they were already fully loaded from the top benches.
Yeah.
For real.
So the guys were about to get fucked up. Everybody was about to get a piece of the action.
Everybody has supersonic hearing because they heard everybody pull out their guns.
But in here, RoboCop stomping in the parking lot.
And for some reason, every time in a movie somebody pulls out a gun, it cocks automatically.
They're all trained.
Because it's all the same sound effect. They just keep recycling them. No.
But anyway, RoboCop's banging on the door. He busts the door open. He freaking takes out everybody and shoots everybody. And then he gets Clarence by himself. Clarence starts singing like a fucking canary. It's Dick Jones at OCP. I work for Dick Jones. He's a second guy at OCP. OCP runs the cops. You're a cop. He's like, oh, I am a cop. And then he lets him go. He brings him to the precinct.
Yeah.
And then Clarence spits on the desk, which was improvised as well. He's like, I just want my fucking phone call. So then he calls Dick Jones, and Dick Jones is like, all right, my lawyers will have you out in 24 hours. You really fucked up, blah, blah, blah. And then, RoboCop goes to Dick Jones. He goes to Dick Jones' office. Dick Jones is waiting for him with that little tracking system. And then Dick Jones knows he can't arrest him, so he's just waiting for RoboCop. Oh, you better take me in then. And then as soon as RoboCop goes to arrest Dick Jones, he freaking has a huge seizure. Like, he's like, and super dramatic because directive is a directive. He can't arrest a
senior member of
the law. So then Dick Jones sets Ed 209 on big old RoboCop. Ed 209's fucking him up. And then we find Ed 209's greatest weakness.
The fact
the stairs. He can't go downstairs.
So what sound effect was that?
He goes, he sounds like a freaking baby pterodactyl.
The pig squealing. The pig squealing. When he falls down the steps, it sounds like, you know, the classic pig squeal, just read, and I was like, oh my god,
that's what it is.
Oh,
for real,
my gosh, terrible.
Nah, it was bad. It was
horrible.
Nasty work.
Nasty
work. And then he went from being a freaking 20-foot robot, right? You know, 20-foot robot standing in the door, shooting guns and all that, and then he falls down and it's maybe 6.5 feet. Right? He
They skewed him because on the computer they had the 4 boxes on each corner, so they just
they literally just took it in a little bit so he could fit on the steps, like
they pancaked him, and then RoboCop finally makes it to the parking garage, and then every cop in America is there to shoot him. So and then they start shooting him at him. Obviously, he doesn't die, but he can feel pain some way somehow. So then Lewis picks him up. And he's like, "Oh, get in." So then they go back to the same exact spot where they kill Alex Murphy, because apparently that's the only third setting in this town, Detroit. It's the OCP office, the steel mill, and the precinct. That's pretty much the only the locations here. So then they go to that, and then Clarence Bodiger, he goes to Dick Jones. He tells him what he needs to kill RoboCop, and then he gives him the 6,000 SUXs and these huge ass Barrett freaking sniper rifles that explode fire hydrants and everything. And then he gives him the little tracking system to know where RoboCop is. So then he's chilling with his boys. He's like, "Oh, he's at the old steel mill. Let's go." So everybody goes to the steel mill. And then RoboCop's working on his targeting system, even though Lewis is sleeping because he doesn't give a fuck about anybody sleeping.
That little reunion that they had when like all the bad guys got back together, my man was sitting there. What is that show that they're watching? Was that like an actual show in the 80s?
I'd buy that for $1.
Was that an actual show? So this man is sitting curbside watching the show, right? Because the cops is on strike, and so everybody it's just mayhem in the streets, right? And then so the guy's watching that show, and then homeboy pulls up in the gas guzzler, the 6,000 SUX or whatever it was. He pulls up in that.
6,000
and he's like, "Yo, I got the same car you got." And this man pulls out that Barrett sniper rifle and blew his car up. For no reason. And then they just destroyed all the cars on the street. And back in '87, you could use that maggot word. Now, you guys know what word I'm talking about. It rhymes with maggot.
Right.
I ain't gonna say it in this podcast, but they was just letting it fly. He said it like 3 or 4 times in that 2-minute scene. He was just letting it go. He was like, "Yo, give me that gun, you maggot."
They were out of control. They were definitely out of control, man. That place.
I don't remember hearing that.
Oh yeah, he was like, "Get that up." I think I wrote down, "Get that up, maggot, little man." And then when they was leaving, he's like, "Yo, forget you maggots." Like the 80s was wild, bro. They ain't even care. Oh,
yeah, it was the Wild West back then.
Yeah.
All right, so Murphy gets through shit about Lewis sleeping. He recalibrates his targeting system with this freaking huge ass Desert Eagle that sounds like a freaking M4 in Call of Duty. Like a brr, brr, brr. So he's shooting jars of baby food, and then the Clarence crew gets there, and they're just looking for him. And then RoboCop, he throws a piece of tin. He's like, "Looking for me? Oh no, he throws a piece of tin and everybody just unloads where the sound comes off. Just unloads all their ammo. Like nobody gives a shit about reserving ammo. No trigger discipline whatsoever. And then RoboCop's like, oh, looking for me. And then everybody just unloads on RoboCop. Nobody hits him. And then Emil's driving. And then he sees RoboCop and he drives right into the toxic waste. And then he becomes like a toxic zombie. It's like the most worst in the most disgusting way. Makeup with the fingers dripping off the bone.
Yo,
Yeah,
they did that. They did that really well. But I also want to point out that the black guy died first, right? Like everybody turns and shoots at RoboCop, and RoboCop shot the black guy.
Yeah, but
Police
at least he's
man.
not the first one. At least he's not the first one to die in the movie.
Fact.
White guy was.
Fact.
About 10 white guys first. So Emil's walking around with a freaking zombie. Help me. And then Spain's like, oh, get away from me, man.
Yo, don't touch me.
Don't touch me. And then Clarence runs his ass over and his whole windshield just turns green from all the toxic shit.
Oh,
Fucking disgusting. So then it's only Clarence and the Spanish guy left. And then Clarence is like distracted RoboCop while the Spanish guy goes up to the crane and he moves the beams over RoboCop to drop him, and RoboCop gets crushed. And then he's like, "Oh, I got him, Clarence! I got him!" And then Lewis just shoots him with the Barrett and blows up that whole crane. And then Clarence has like a oh fuck look on his face. So then, while RoboCop's crushed by the beams, Clarence gets a steel pole and freaking whacks RoboCop and stabs him through the heart. And RoboCop screams in pain, even though he's a robot.
Yep.
And then he takes out the spike from his fist and jabs him in the jugular. As soon as he rips it up. What's that?
It's a fatality in Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Really good, yeah.
Nice. And then as soon as he rips it out from his neck, you just see all that blood spill right on top of RoboCop's freaking thing. It looks so disgusting. It was so sick.
Yeah.
And then you just see the blood squirting from Clarence as he's holding it. It's like, And then, so Clarence dies. And then he's like, Lewis, are you okay? He's like, Murphy, I'm a mess. And then Murphy goes back to OCP offices while Dick Jones giving a presentation. He brings a Barrett with him. He shoots the Ad 209 that's on perimeter over there. And then he walks up to the office. And then he interrupts the presentation. He's like, I'm here to arrest Dick Jones. He's like, oh, on what terms, son? He's like, murder and aiding and abetting or whatever.
Yeah, aiding and abetting a felon.
Yeah, and then he's like, do you have evidence of this, son? And then he sticks his spike again into the computer and he shows the evidence of, I had to kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now it's time to erase that mistake. So then that plays over and over again. And he grabs the platinumed out Desert Eagle from the freaking carrying case. He grabs the old man. I know. I don't know. For safekeeping. So then he grabs the old man, holds him hostage, and then he goes, Dick, you're fired. The old man fires Dick Jones, and RoboCop's like, thank you. And then he just fucking fucking shoots him, and then the black guy gets up mad happy as he's falling out the window. And then he falls out the window.
Now let's talk about that one scene real quick when he's falling out the window. Tell me he didn't look like Freddy Krueger in part 1 when the arms stretch out across the whole backyard. Because his arms look mad long.
Yo, that scene in Freddy Krueger scene, creepy as fuck when I first saw
them scenes.
Nah, we definitely want to get into Freddy.
The way he was running with his arms stretched out like that?
Yeah.
Hell no.
Now I'm gonna have a nightmare tonight.
Nah,
for real. On Elm Street.
The way mans fell out that window, like you could tell that was all green screen. Because it just looked fake. Like he was falling down.
No, yeah, he was a clay model.
They was just shrinking it.
Yo, now you know what's funny? Now that we're talking about this shit right now, Jedi, did you ever see Be Kind? The movie?
Rewind. Be Kind, Rewind.
Yeah.
And they was recreating all the movies.
Didn't they do RoboCop?
Yeah. And it's mad funny how they did all the movies. It's so funny. Like when they do the rush hour scene and he's like hanging from the top of the building, but it shows Jack Black standing on the mat that has like the roads for kids and everything. he's like Kata. Yeah, that movie's super underrated. That movie's so underrated. It's Jack Black and Mos Def.
Yeah.
That shit is mad funny.
But yeah, man.
But anyway,
wait, Ed 209 again with the recycled freaking sound effects. The same sound effect that he was making. So he destroyed it, right? But like the legs were still moving, and you can like hear, they was like smoking or whatever, and all of a sudden you hear like the sound from He-Man when Skeletor will open a portal, like.
Oh, when the foot's twitching.
Yeah, you just hear it in the background, just like we. I'm like, yo, that's a portal. That's y'all really couldn't get any other sound effects. Like it's just like one soundboard in all of Hollywood, and everything used it.
Oh, 13 million. They couldn't get the deluxe. They got the trial board.
Yeah, they just got the free trial version. They didn't have money to spend on the pro version. So anyway, Dick Jones falls out the window, and then the old man says, "Nice shooting, son. What's your name?" And then Murphy turns around and he says, "Murphy." And then curtain drops. Fucking. Bam, 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 bam. That's it. That's the movie.
Huh. Yeah. So
I'm not mad at it.
What was y'all overall thoughts watching the movie again after all this time?
Well, since I watched it like 4 times in the past 3 days, I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the suit, the RoboCop suit is fucking dope. I'm just looking at that. So dope. The gunmetal paint job on it, super shiny. The visor, it's like super iconic. Like you can't get any better than that. I haven't seen a robot suit that's just as good or even better than that. Even the new RoboCop, the 2014, that thing was trash because it's all CG. And then his helmet looks like, I don't know, it just looks whack. You know what I mean?
Huh? What about you, Mikey?
And then, I mean,
what about you, D?
No, I've always liked RoboCop, but it's like when you watch one of those movies that you remember watching as when you're young, like there's always something that ingrained in your head. And for me, it was when I think it's the battle with Ed 209 and RoboCop when he cracks his helmet. And I remember my mom and my dad like, "Mira el ojo!" Ah! You can see his eyeball. And I'll never forget that. And to me, it was like, yo, yeah, his eyeball. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can see it underneath the helmet.
Oh, man.
To me, like so that's where that movie is for me. Like I like it. I thought it looked good. Watching everything with Ed 209 is what's the matter with me. You know, like it's bad.
The thing is, Ed 209 is so huge, and they want him to be like a street patrol officer. You know what I mean? It's freaking huge, and his 2 hands are huge Gatling guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wasn't gonna fly.
What about you, Ghost?
I think that watching the movie back, I know I'm giving all the crap about the sound effects and the visual effects and stuff like that, but as a movie itself, like honestly, it was pretty good. It was I think my biggest issue was just Ed 209, man. Ed 209, it was way too big, it was way too fake. But other than that, you know what I'm saying, I thought it did a really good job. I enjoyed the movie. I don't remember the movie that much, right? Because when it came out, 87, I was a child. So I didn't really remember it too well, but watching it back, I was like, yo, this is actually pretty good. Given the time, because like you say with RoboCop, like he looked like a robot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dope.
And then even when they took the visor off, and like he's like turning his head and stuff, like you can't tell that's like compared to Ed 209, like the visual effects for that looks 10 times better. So I'm curious how they did that. It was probably just like a suit that he had on, but you know what I mean? So it was just like, I think it was done really well, and I enjoyed the movie. Nothing beats practical makeup. Like the old Ninja Turtle movies, still way better than the new ones that are all CG.
Way better. I think we got to revisit part 1. We definitely got to do that. I definitely would like to talk about the battle of the 80s robots, because we got to put, Johnny Five in there. We got to put in Deadly Friend. Well, maybe she's not really a robot.
I don't remember
But she's
that one.
You remember Deadly Friend? Deadly Friend is a story. It's a horror movie. Yeah, because
if it's a scary movie, I'm out.
Well, it's a story about this geeky ass dude. He's got a robot. His neighbor is a girl. She gets killed by her dad. He puts the robot chip in her head, and now she's a robot.
Yeah, I don't remember
And
that.
she moves like that, like Alpha 5?
Yeah, she actually walks around like this. That's funny. So one of the scenes is that one of their neighbors is an old lady who just hates the neighborhood kids. Basketball falls into the yard, and she's like, "I'm gonna keep it." Right? So the Deadly Friend grabs the basketball, throws it at her face, and then all you see is pie all over the wall. Yeah, so we might have to do the battle of the robots. There's another one. There was Johnny Five. Maybe I was thinking about Deadly Friend. But there's quite a few robots. I mean, I don't know if batteries not included counts as robots, but
yeah.
Little saucers. There's definitely some goodies in the 80s for movies that we could talk about.
So just to recap on RoboCop, who do you guys think was the worst villain in this movie?
Oh damn, villain.
Who was like the villain to you in this movie? Because there's like 3 or 4 of them.
I mean, so obviously the head villain or the overall villain is I'd say Dick Jones, right? Because I know, like, I was gonna say Red. I know Clarence is, kind of like the catalyst, right? Like that's what kind of set it all off for RoboCop to, do his thing and get to Dick Jones. But the fact that he was working for Dick Jones. You know what I mean? So
right,
even so it's kind of weird that he was robbing a bank when like he's got this like multimillionaire partner, but whatever. They burned the money anyway.
Yeah, but Emil spills his guts to the other guy about that. He's like, "Oh, we steal the money, we buy the coke, and then we sell the coke for even more money." Yeah. He's like, "Oh, what's better? What's better?" He's like, "Oh, why don't you just what's the guy say? I forget, but he's like, "Oh, what's better than free capitalism or something like that?"
Yeah. So, but yeah, overall, I think the overall villain of the movie was Dick Jones.
I gotta say, Clarence Bodiger was for me, because this movie made me think that guy is Clarence Bodiger. When I saw him in Dead Poet Society, I'm like, that's Clarence Bodiger. He's a fucking asshole. When I see him in that 70s show, I'm like, damn, Clarence Bodiger's a dad now. What the hell? But like, he's Clarence Bodiger to me, the most ruthless, like no give a shit motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he was good. I definitely enjoyed those guys. I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't. When I see movies, I don't. It's hard for me to like see an actor and then only. How do I say it? Like the way you only see Clarence now. I guess maybe that would be with me and Tone and Robert Downey. Like and Hugh Jackman only see Wolverine.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I don't know. I thought each one of those guys played their part. I mean, I think there were some useless villains, like Homeboy with the fucking crazy ass gun. That shit was nuts. I don't think you needed him robbing the convenience store.
Yeah, but he was only in there for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. He got fucked up, but he didn't need that gun. That shit was heavy duty.
Also, that thing had the clip on the sideways like that. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. That was wild. But, RoboCop took care of that easy. He just bent the muzzle. Problem solved.
But overall, I think the movie was great. I mean, like I said, the suit is dope. The soundtrack, bum, 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 bum. That shit is dope. The opening title screen is dope. Just boom, RoboCop, bang. Set in Detroit, the shittiest place on earth. Like, I never want to go to Detroit ever.
But yeah,
and future spoilers. part 3, the splatter punks come in. It's like, oh, the splatter punks.
Yeah.
Before we go, how many dopes you giving it out of 5? How many dopes?
Damn, I was supposed to give it that many? Shit. Fuck. Yo, my rating system sucks anyways because I'm gonna give it 5, right? But to me, everything's good. So definitely, I definitely like it. I don't know if I agree with Jedi that the remake was bad because I think I liked it, but I'm gonna have to watch it now just so I can compare and contrast. I don't really mind CGI. That's cool because I want that shit to look crazy. When do I mind CGI? I don't know. I guess we'll have to talk about that. That might be, when is CGI too much? Maybe the first Hulk movie was disgusting CGI because the new one, I like that. That should look all right. So we might have to have a whole conference on that.
Well, I have an answer. Before we go, real quick, I have an answer to that. When is CGI too much? Star Wars Episode 2. The entire fucking movie is in CGI except for the actors.
Fuck. All right. Okay. So I might have to check that out then. I liked it. I will give it, let's see. Well, I mean, I did give it 5. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with 5. I like it. Super dope.
I'm gonna give it 5 too. Whatever. 5 dopes. 5 super dopes.
I'm gonna give it a
3. But you gotta go by the 87 standards, man. You can't go by the 2020 standards.
I'm gonna give it.
You know what I'm saying?
3.
All right. Okay.
All right. 3. All right. That's 3. That's fine.
Just because there was some. I mean, a 3's not bad. A 3's not bad. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't a bad movie. It was a good. It was a solid movie. I just thought there was a lot of stuff that kind of happened that was like a little bit pointless. The black dude was just super annoying to me. Like he could have just like he was pretty much Ed from The Lion King. You know what I'm saying? Like the way he laughed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The retarded, excuse me, the mentally challenged hyena. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So he was basically him. I just, so there was that. Ed 209, I just couldn't get past it. Like for it to be such a major thing, the fact that it couldn't go down the steps. How's he supposed to be patrolling the streets, keeping the world safe?
I know.
And can't go downstairs. Like who? You know what I'm saying? And then it's a glitch. Like you didn't want that man to put on a bulletproof vest before you decided to have this thing start shooting at him in this room full of people. Like I don't know. I just the overall, I think it was a good movie. I like the way that the news did a good job of setting the scene. What Detroit was like then. But I gave it. It was a solid movie. It was a 3.
All right, cool. So me and Deez, we give it a 5, and then Ghost gives it a 3. So there you have it. Average score 4. All right. So until next time, for Deez, for Ghost, I'm Jedi, and until next time, thank you for your cooperation.
Yo.